Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. In today's video I'm going to recreate my apartment that I currently live in with my boyfriend, and I really love this apartment. It really feels like home for me, and that is one reason why I wanted to recreate it, but also is the fact that the last few days and weeks I was always thinking like, oh, I'm looking forward to the moment when I earn some money and I can decorate a home after like my taste and my style and decorate it however I want it. And I'm so curious what my interior design style will be, or the kind of furniture that I really like. And so I got this idea. Why don't I recreate the apartment in The Sims and then afterwards redecorate it after my heart's content with the items that we have in The Sims? And I was so excited to do it and so curious to see what I was going to do. And of course there were a lot of differences between the Sims apartment and the real apartment, because some things were just impossible to execute in The Sims. Like, one thing was that we live in the 4th floor of a 4-story apartment building, and that means that we live directly underneath the roof, and that means that basically one half of our apartment has like angled walls. They aren't straight. You can't place any cupboards or something there that are higher, and yeah, that is something that you can't execute in The Sims. And so that changed a lot of things, and a lot of walls had to stay bare, when in The Sims it looked like they could have been better furnished. And I tried to keep that in mind for the redecoration of the apartment too. And then there were some other things that I wanted to stay as accurate as possible with, like for example the placement of the heaters and the placement of the lights and also the windows. And yeah, in reality most of these windows are also angled windows, like roof windows basically, despite those that lead to the balcony. But yeah, the other ones are all like on an angle, which means that it's pretty hard to place like curtains, or we don't have any windowsills for decorations. And so I kept that in mind and didn't place anything like that there. And then the final and main problem was that yeah, the wall placing can't exactly be accurate. You can't place it on the half tiles, so you have to stick to the grid. And so some scalings were off, like some parts of the furniture were too small, some were too big, but I think in general it's coming quite close. And I started the recreation process with our living room, and our living room has a dining table and our gaming setup and also like workspace, and then also a corner to watch some TV, which we rarely do, but like it's there. And I was so excited to recreate the gaming setup because there were so many items that made it so cool to do. Like I have a gaming setup with more blue lights and he has it with red lights, and then I tried to recreate that. And he has this little fan on his desk because it can get really hot in this apartment. And yeah, I've got also a printer on my desk, which I was able to recreate, I think, with a speaker from some pack. I don't know which one, but it looked like it had exactly the right size. And then I also placed a graphic tablet on the desk, which I have in the exact same spot that you can see. And yeah, the whole TV watching area is a whole mess of like hand-me-down furniture that we got, and it's pretty cozy. Like we have this pretty ugly brown couch, but I kind of love that couch because it's just so comfy. We had like the choice between this brown couch that belonged to my boyfriend, and I had a very fancy looking blue couch that wasn't like by far wasn't as comfy as this couch is, so we went for like comfort over looks. And so yeah, I had to try to recreate this couch, and also like all the stuff that we have standing there, like that poof. And we also have this little glass cupboard where we keep all of our CDs and DVDs, and that was basically, for me at least, impossible to recreate in The Sims, and I tried to do it with one of these things from Get to Work and put some CDs into it. I hope it's recognizable what it's supposed to be, and underneath the TV is a basically second gaming setup with the Wii and the Switch that I also tried to recreate here. Oh yes, and I also totally forgot to mention that behind my desk is usually in real life an e-drum set that belongs to my boyfriend, but we don't have drum sets or especially e-drum sets in The Sims, so I chose the e-piano because I thought it was the closest in looks and functionality. And then I also remembered to put the rug underneath it. That is like a special soundproofing carpet that prevents our neighbors from hating us, hopefully. And then the last little touch that I put into the living room was a little penguin, because we have a little penguin on our bookcase in the middle of the room that we use as kind of a room divider, and so I also put a little penguin on the one in The Sims. Next up, I tackle the hallway, and there is a wide built-in closet in the hallway, and I tried to recreate it with these wide closets from university. They didn't fit exactly, especially the scaling, because those closets are basically built into the wall in reality, but I tried to get as close as possible. And then also I have another little cabinet that is a lot lower, that is basically a side table, and behind that is a mirror and some makeup stuff on there, because I always do my makeup in the hallway, because there is just awful lighting in our bathroom because we don't have any windows, and the lamp that we have there isn't the best, and getting ready in the morning in the bedroom is also kind of difficult because my boyfriend usually sleeps longer than I do, and so I just get ready in the hallway. And there's awesome lighting there because there is light coming in from 2 different rooms and also a good lamp. So I'm kind of happy to do my makeup there, but I think it's kind of unusual. And next to the entry door, there is a kind of appliance at our wall that helps us open the door and answer the door basically. And I didn't find anything quite like it in the decorations in The Sims, but I settled in the end for a fire extinguisher because the casing around it had the exact right color, and it's also a helpful item, so I just chose that. And the next room is the bathroom, and I'm super proud of this one because it's so accurate to reality. The only 2 things that are different is that in reality there is a little cabinet between the toilet and the washing machine, and that just didn't fit there size-wise. This area of the bathroom was already so overcrowded in The Sims that I didn't even try fitting a closet between these 2. And the other thing that is different is that the shower head inside the shower is on the other side than it is in real life, but other than that it looks basically exactly the same. We have a shower curtain that is blue and white, and it has bubbles instead of stripes, but other than that it's exactly the same, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. And then I got to the bedroom, and it was really messing with my head because with this room the scaling was somehow totally off. The bedroom was simultaneously too small and too big, and it was simultaneously too empty, and there was too much empty space, but at the same time it wasn't cluttered enough. It was too full. It was just very, very weird in relation to the real one, because in the real one the side where the bed is and where the windows are feels a lot smaller, the wall ends exactly where the bed tables end, and I tried to make the bed a little bit bigger to kind of balance that out, but then the bed stood in too much inside the other half of the room, like lengthwise, and it didn't look the way I wanted it to. And so it was like too big in that half of the room, but on the other half of the room, where we have basically three cabinets or closets, or wardrobes in that case, on the other wall, that was like way too small. I couldn't really fit them in. Like the middle one is a lot bigger in reality, and it has mirrors, and it is brown, and I just couldn't find anything to match it. And yeah, like with the bedroom, I sadly didn't have the scaling, and I didn't have the items to make it look really accurate to how it looks in real life. I think the most accurate thing in the bedroom is probably the pile of clothes on that desk that is usually meant to study and draw. So yeah. And then the last room that I had to do was the kitchen, and our kitchen counters in reality aren't quite as fancy and modern looking. They're quite nice. They have this light wood like underneath, and then a darker brown plate on top. And so I chose these ones, but the one in reality is a lot more like matte and dull. And yeah, then we have next to it a second little freezer, because the one that was built in the fridge that we had was very small, and so we have a second little one. And then on top of that is our microwave. And we also have a little table in the kitchen, and then there are two like white leather chairs that we got from my aunt, who was so kind to give it to us. And on that table there is an orchid standing, and we also now have like a little baby orchid next to it in a pot, which is super cute. But yeah, and behind that orchid and that table is a little picture. It's actually a print of a photo that I've taken, but in The Sims I could only match like the color scheme of that photo. And in front of the window, actually in reality that window is kind of like pushed back a little bit, but it didn't quite fit with the size of the room in The Sims, so I just let that wall be flat. But in reality, in front of that window there are a lot of crates of like water and juice and milk and stuff, which I couldn't really represent in The Sims, so I chose the cooling boxes from Outdoor Retreat to kind of represent those beverage crates. And now we get to the fun part, the redecoration of the apartment, like to my heart's content, did whatever I wanted to. Yeah, I think it turned out at least better than it looked before. And the first step was to choose a darker flooring, not super dark, but just to give it a little bit more warmth. And then in the dining room I chose like this cool brick backdrop, because I thought that area needed a little bit something behind it. And yeah, I also chose a painting in The Sims that I really like, but that I rarely get to use, so I used it there because I would love to have something like that, I think, in my room. And I added a lot of like decorations, a lot of plants to make it feel a little bit more decorated and homey. And I didn't change a lot around the gaming setup station, because I already like it a lot. I just changed the picture so that we each would have our own. And then in the TV area I changed a lot more. I changed the entire like lighting and gave us a new sofa. And yeah, I didn't really change a lot in the bathroom and the kitchen, but I changed a lot in the bedroom. I made it look like more like yellow and bright living space, and you'll see all of that in comparison in the pictures, the screenshots in the end, and I hope you'll enjoy it. And I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video. If you would consider subscribing, you would make me super duper happy. I hope we'll see each other again.